Good evening. Sal Sarah, Life on Wheels, Special Edition, Florida Tragedy. We spoke about it yesterday, and I knew it was only a matter of time before all Democrats would start saying that Republicans are causing this and that President Trump has been so many shootings, like he's the reason that people are going crazy and doing all these violent acts. Need we forget you had the Columbine shooting, which was one of the country's worst shootings in schools, was under President Clinton's watch. You had that shooting up in the Northeast that was under Obama's watch. So what's the excuses then? 2 years, when President Obama was first elected, 2 years he had a supermajority in Congress and could have passed any legislation he wanted. Passed no immigration legislation, no gun control laws. All he did was healthcare. That was it in those 2 years where he had supermajority. So for Democrats now to make all this stuff that Republicans are the reason why all these people are killing each other is just insane. So I turned on the 3 networks, and they all were having children being interviewed. The first thing they'd say is they'd start apologizing for what they went through, saying that they were sorry. If these reporters and news people were actually sorry, they would not be having children talking about a traumatic event that just happened to them. There's plenty of adults that know what's happened and were involved that they didn't have to ask children. And you have the parents, where are they? Letting their kids go on television? I don't understand it. To me, they're not sorry, because if they were sorry, they'd either wait or they would not interview children at all. So, and then you got the age-old question: who kills people? Guns or people? It's people. There was reports today that they found, I don't know if they found explosives or items that could make explosives, but if there were no guns, if this individual was that messed up, there's plenty of other ways that he could have killed tons of people. If he would have got a van, had somebody pulled the fire alarm, and when they were all going outside, run them down, would we be hearing for car control laws? So, and then you get the left saying how much the NRA has donated. Well, let's look at all the Democrats' donors and see how that shapes their policies too. The NRA is not trying, they're not for people slaughtering other people. So, it's just the whole thing is sickening, how you take it to a tragedy to insulting a whole group of people, and that they're the problems. Like you had that beautiful woman Mika, who shouldn't be on TV at all, if you ask me, because she really is despicable. She was calling out Senator Rubio, saying to be a man, be a man. I thought the left didn't want men to be men anymore. No more mansplaining and everything else, that men were evil. Now she wants him to be a man. And then one of her other colleagues at the MSNBC said, oh no, don't be a man, be a human. Because it's inhuman to actually talk about gun rights. Only thing gun control laws are going to do is stop law-abiding citizens from getting guns. If you're a criminal, or there's something wrong with you, there's still tons of places for you to get guns illegally. Do you think gangs and all these people with all these weapons all of a sudden aren't going to have them anymore because you passed tougher gun laws? You look at Europe, all the people that have been dying over there in the last few years. They have the toughest gun laws around. And what do they? They kill people with cars, bombs. So people are going to try to kill people regardless. Okay, because it's guns and because the left doesn't like guns, it's the guns' fault. No, it's sickness in here. People are sick, not guns. Guns don't have motives or screwed up brains. It's a machine, a piece of metal. It's whose hands you put it in. And yes, people need to do a better job making sure that people are obeying the laws that are already in place. Okay, having tougher laws aren't going to stop people from going through the cracks. So I don't understand what they wish to hope to achieve here. I don't. I didn't even want to do a show tonight. I was just going to take the night off, do a little some of my schoolwork from the New York Institute of Photography, but hearing just how ridiculous the news media are, I wanted to vent my frustration and just their incompetence. The president gave a speech today. To me, it was heartfelt. He was a CNN analyst said he was what was the word that he used? The consoler in chief. But as soon as he was done, boom, the attacks started. I'll first get into what the president said, and then I'll talk to you about these nut jobs, what they're saying now. Because they really are turning a tragedy into a political horse crap. Instead of the media focusing on the heroic acts of some of the teachers and coaches that actually saved lives and lost their own, they're Trump, because that's all the media cares about, is turning every single issue against Trump, because that's their main goal. They don't care. It sounds cold, but they care more about getting rid of Trump than what these poor families are going through that lost loved ones. That's their main focus, is how can we turn this against Trump? And that right there is just enough. But so the president quoted from the Bible. He said that the children's, they're not alone. They'll never be alone. If they need help, there's help all around. Parents, teachers, priests, whatever. There's tons of help if you need it. Then he was saying that he's going to be working on ways, getting people together to try to make schools safer. But he didn't mention gun control laws. He mentioned mental health, which is, if you look, the common theme in all these last few shootings are mentally ill people. So there's already laws that are supposed to prevent mentally ill people from getting guns. So instead of trying to make new laws and make political bullcrap, look into where the law that's already in place failed. And find ways to make sure it's being enforced properly. But that's not what the left wants. They want to just be able to turn this against Republicans, and especially the president, because they despise him. But as soon as his speech was done, they were like, he was a consoler in chief, but no action. Saying that, he doesn't want gun control laws because before he was president, he was against guns, but now the NRA gives him money, so now he's for guns. Whatever horse shit that they're trying to make it seem like he's the bad guy in this situation, when instead the bad guy is the mentally disturbed individual that actually killed. He was a kid himself. So I understand that his parents died, but where was his adult supervision? You can't tell me if this kid was that, especially with everyone saying, oh, we knew that he'd be the one to do this. If all these people supposedly knew, why weren't steps taken? If he obviously had some mental problems, he should have been brought to see treatment. It just doesn't make any sense. That's where they should be focusing on. But instead, it's, again, Trump, because it's all his fault. Who cares that we just came out of 8 years of Democratic control in the White House, and as I said, there was the shooting in the school up north that was bad. I think it was Connecticut, or Rhode Island, one of those northeastern states. But nothing was done. They made their typical hoo-ha-ha, Republicans are bad, gun control. This Donald Trump's election, one of the main parts of it was that there was a Supreme Court seat opened. One of the big things on the Supreme Court, besides abortion, is the Second Amendment, guns. So the people spoke when they voted for Trump, meaning that they wanted to uphold the Second Amendment, not dismantle it like the left wants to. And they all say, oh, we're not against guns. I'm all for the Second Amendment. You can't be for the Second Amendment and then want to ban most guns, because that's not what the Second Amendment wants. But people don't call them out on their hypocrisy, because the people that are supposed to be calling the left out on their facts is the media. And the media is in their pocket. They are the left now. So there's no one to call them out. You have a little bit of Fox people do, but that's one against friggin' everyone else. So there's one red light in a sea of blue. So I really don't understand why the left has to just attack a person. It used to be that they didn't like issues and you'd fight on the issues, but now it's really personal and ugly, and they're not attacking the issues, they're attacking the person. Okay? And they were supposed to be the ones that include everyone and is nice, but that none of their beliefs apply to people they don't like. Okay? They have all women's march, and, you have to agree with them though to be in it. They're not all inclusive. They're very narrow-minded, holier-than-thou people who aren't religious. But it's just gun control laws is another way for the left to try to control how, what we think, what we can do. Again, I said it before, the left's all about taking away your freedom. So, and the other story, as soon as I got up this morning, because I knew that it would go from tragedy to politics, and CNN had Florida Senator Nelson, Democrat, saying that the guns are killing the people, not people. That's what I took out for him. He said he didn't say those words, but again, and all these things, where are the parents, wives, people that know these people? You can't tell me that they were just perfectly normal. I'm sure maybe once in a while that happens where a person just snaps, but this seems more planned out, and a lot of these things do seem planned out, so you can't tell me nobody noticed anything. But that's all they were. CNN was just constant. It was all anti-gun. MSNBC, when I first turned to it, they were talking about, Russia, because it's still trying to say that Trump is with Russia. And then they were also talking about how many people in the White House don't have security clearances, and two of them is the president's daughter and her husband, Jared Kushner. And then they went from that immediately into gun control laws, and Republicans aren't, like Marco Rubio needs to be a man. Republicans need to step up and be a man and ban guns. It's just sickening. And Fox was talking about, trying to find out what the shooter's life was like to see what would lead him to do this. And then they were also talking about the story of the football coach that ran in front of the shooter and saved kids and lost his own life. And that's where the media should be focused, is on heroes like that, how in times of horror and just unbelievable evil, that you still have good people rushing in and doing all they can. But that's not what the media focuses on. They're focused on, we got to use this to get rid of Trump, or we got to use this to take back Congress. Because it's always about them and getting power for themselves, not actually about helping the people that they supposedly champion. So it's just sickening, and I was sitting there going crazy listening to all the political bullcrap that was being spewed from them. You know, you have Rachel Maddow, or she is a mad cow. That woman really has some screws loose. She should be on The View because she's as crazy as they are. But it's just sickening to hear how they constantly turn tragedy into a political opportunity in their mind. And these days it's all about, let's get rid of Trump. Let's get rid of Trump. We need control of the House. So when and if that happens, there's going to be a lot of pissed off people in this country. And it's going to be ugly. But planes are coming. That's all for tonight. Thanks for watching, and good night.